All right, confession time. I'm an old guy. I mean, really old. How old? Well, I'm so old that I can remember back to the days of the Cold War, when the left treated Russia as the kinder, gentler future that would one day replace our harsh, awful capitalism. Wait, what's that you say? The left is still spreading Russian propaganda? Actually, I think you might be right. Let's find out as we go busting the narrative and, oh yeah, have a look at what the deal is with Hunter Biden and those biolabs along the way. Now let's just recap where we are. In 2020, just before the election, Miranda Devine at the New York Post broke the story of Hunter Biden's laptop, which the crackhead wastrel fail-son of America's next president left behind in a Delaware repair shop. Its contents detailed everything from drug addiction and problems with hookers to far more serious evidence suggesting foreign influence schemes and international corruption. This was followed up with Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell, which became a bestseller. And among the shocking revelations she made was that, as of July 2021, Hunter Biden was still an investor in BHR, a partnership between his own company and a Chinese company. In other words, quote, the son of the U.S. president is in business with the government of Communist China. So, of course, the media did everything it could do to cover it up, and they even fell for the line, pushed by more than 50 former so-called intelligence agents, that this was all just Russian disinformation. And yet, now, suddenly more and more people are acknowledging that this was in fact true all along. The Washington Post is the latest to come to the story, confirming almost a year and a half after it was discovered that the laptop's contents were genuine. Which means, logically, everything else on there must be genuine too, presumably. Now, some in Washington are finally starting to take notice of this, and this could cause big problems for the Biden family. Here's Senator ChuckGrassley on the floor of the U.S. Senate confirming the financial link between the Chinese Communist Party and Hunter Biden.
CEFC operated under the guise of a private company, but for all intents and purposes as an arm of the Chinese government. Hunter Biden and James Biden served as the perfect vehicle by which the Communist Chinese government could gain inroads here in the United States through CEFC and its affiliates.
Gotta wonder, did Joe get his 10% for the big guy? Oh, but there's more. Senators Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson also released receipts that show Hunter receiving payments from foreign oligarchs to which, quote, President Biden might be compromised. Energy company CEFC, an arm of the Chinese government, paid Hunter $100,000, Grassley told the Senate. The money was transferred to Wells Fargo Clearing Services with, quote, further credit to Owasco, a Hunter Biden firm. Quote, there's no middleman in this transaction. This is $100,000 from what is effectively an arm of the Communist Chinese government direct to Hunter Biden, Grassley said. Quote, to the liberal media and my Democratic colleagues, he said, is this official bank document Russian disinformation? Well, it's a great question, but not that the American corporate media is doing much to keep people informed about it. It's been now 260 days since a news bulletin on ABC, CBS, or NBC last mentioned the words Hunter Biden, suggesting that for many, the imperative of keeping Biden safe is more important than telling the truth. Now, who knows? Perhaps they're just doing their patriotic duty, doing everything they can to stop from inflicting, and I shudder to even utter these words, President Kamala Harris, on the nation and the world. Or who knows, maybe they're just acting like a bunch of partisan hacks. I don't know. I report, you decide. But here's the big question that sits over all of this. Why does Russian disinformation always seem to wind up coming true? Last week, Russian officials claimed that Hunter Biden had bankrolled biological research laboratories in Ukraine. Here's what Newsweek had to say about it. Quote, the Russian government on Thursday accused Hunter Biden's investment fund of helping bankroll the Pentagon's alleged biolabs in the Ukraine, they reported. But Newsweek continued, quote, however, the U.S. government has previously investigated Sputnik, where this report came from, as a propaganda outlet. The U.S. Department of State said in January that the Kremlin uses the organization, along with state-funded Russia Today, to try and spread disinformation and propaganda to audiences outside Russia in order to influence public opinion and foreign policy in favor of the Kremlin's political goals. Well, that's it, isn't it? Good enough for me. And yet, here we have it again from the New York Post, which broke the story 2 days later. Quote, Russia's assertion that President Biden's son Hunter was, quote, financing biological laboratories in Ukraine, unquote, was based in truth, according to emails reviewed by the Post. The Post continued, U.S. intelligence officials had earlier dismissed Russia's messaging as war propaganda, explaining that Ukraine's network of biolabs dedicated to pathogen research were not secret and had publicly received funding from Washington. However, Russia's new claim that the First Son's investment fund was involved in raising money for the biolab projects in Ukraine was also accurate, according to emails involving Hunter Biden's dealings, first obtained by the Post and initially reported by the Daily Mail on Friday. Now, let's be clear. Just because something is called a biolab does not mean that it is some sort of scary facility, like the, Wuhan Institute of Virology, which incidentally the media also used to tell us was blameless, but now, not so much. But it does suggest that the line between Russian disinformation and Democrat propaganda is, well, a little thinner than first thought. Thanks for watching, and to support this channel, please like, share, and subscribe below. And I'm James Morrow. I'll see you next week for more Busting the Narrative.